This video is an overview of Paper 1, Review of Teaching Strategies. Now, this assignment aligns with course objective number 4, and the objective is to select approaches, strategies, and techniques for integrating technology into the design and development of web-based training programs. For you to be able to select a strategy, you need to consider the strategy from different aspects. So there are a number of teaching strategies that are freely available, but not all of them will be successful or relevant to your learner demographic or to the context of your teaching. So you want to select things that will be effective. To do that, this assignment is to help you source for new and interesting teaching strategies. You're going to critically analyze the strategy and also apply the strategy within your context. So for this, we're going to look at 3 online strategies, and you're supposed to use reliable resources such as peer-reviewed journal articles or books or industry accepted standards. The things that you are required to do in your paper is to describe the strategy and its purpose, talk about the advantages of this strategy in adult education, what are its disadvantages within adult education again, and how are you going to use it in your context. And to make it relevant, remember, frame it within your context. So if you are in a corporate sector conducting training, talk about that. How will you transfer this or translate this strategy into something that will work for you? Now, to help you, I have mentioned that one strategy has to come from the book that we're reading, Continuing to Engage the Online Learner. You can choose 2 other strategies from anywhere you want. But to help you, I have also posted the Add Some Tech Variety book that has more than 100 activities, which you can take and adapt as you see fit. But again, those 2 strategies, you are not restricted to this by any means. You can source for it from anywhere, find something that is interesting, intriguing to you, because this is the space where you can talk about different things from different angles and be free to make mistakes. Be free to explore, and remember that this is a safe space. I'm not here to judge you, but I'm here to help you think of different options. So I want you to push yourselves, challenge yourselves. Don't limit yourselves to strategies that you have already seen, but move out of it. Think of something else, think of something new. Okay, so if this is the paper, how can you write the paper? Now, the paper is supposed to be 5 to 8 pages long, and I have here a sample of what I am expecting in the paper. I don't actually have a complete sample, so this is a skeleton that can help guide you. Okay, so you want to start with an introduction, which is just a few sentences to introduce the idea of teaching strategies and what you will be discussing in the paper. I might write about online teaching strategies being very different from face-to-face teaching strategies. I might say that the 3 strategies I have selected are aligned with connectivism because I subscribe to the connectivist theory of learning. I might also add that these strategies are all framed in the adult learning context, and hence they will have a practical orientation to them. Some general explanation of the strategies you are selecting and what has drawn you to these strategies. Then I might organize my paper by beginning with the first strategy. So just a couple of lines about where you are getting the strategy from. So strategy one is da 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 da, or it's a co-facilitation strategy drawn from the textbook, continuing to engage the online learner. This strategy is especially useful for, and then maybe a line or two about that. Then you come to the actual description and purpose of the strategy, its advantages, disadvantages, and an example of where you might use it. To help you think through this, I'm taking an example from our text, from the Continuing to Engage the Online Learner text. This is on page 131. It's called Facilitating Diversity Online. Okay, so I would say that this the name of the strategy is Facilitating Diversity Online. The purpose is to design a lesson plan with activities for students that demonstrates. Remember, although this objective is given in the textbook, if you are going to directly copy it, you need to cite it appropriately. Otherwise, it is considered plagiarism. Even if you paraphrase it, you still need to cite the source. Okay, so you make your appropriate citings for it. You have the instructions and you have instructions for the instructor. Read through it and then in your own words, write out what you think, describe the activity. Now, if I go back to the activity, what are the advantages of this? So this is to allow students to create their own online module, right? So the advantage for adult learners is that it is very practical, allows them to apply knowledge immediately, and they are able to practice what they have studied. So it's their research into practice, very hands-on. That's an advantage. Now, when you're talking about research into practice, very hands-on, you can relate it back to andragogy and the principles of andragogy. Now, what is the disadvantage of this? From what I see of this activity, the only support that the students are receiving is that they need to read the guidelines and then use that as a basis for designing this online section. I'm not sure if that is enough support for my online learners. I might spend 2 weeks reviewing the readings with my learners and then having them practice it in designing an online section. So that's a disadvantage for me because I think there's not enough time for it. So then what are my suggestions? How will I implement it? And that's where I'm going to talk of this. I will explain who my learner is. So I might say, who is my learner? How will I implement this strategy? You can talk about when you will implement this strategy. For example, beginning of the course, middle, end, as a final assessment. So those are suggestions of when you want to implement it. And you can talk about any changes to the original strategy and why. So these are some things that you're going to talk about when you give your example. You can use this, the continuing to engage the online learner, as a guide as well on how to write out your own instructions for it and then explain it to me. Okay, so when you do that, if you do this for each strategy, you will easily hit 5 pages and more. So take some time, think about the strategies, and explore and have fun doing it.